Hi, Barbara and everybody. Seems ages since I've made some videos, but the summer canning and everything's nearly over, so I can start getting back into these again. So, Barbara, starting opening a new hoop up. Barbara is wanting to use a shadow font, TTF. The trouble is the one she has chosen isn't filled. It's just like the shadow around the outside of the letters, and she's wanting it filled. And what she was doing is going into TTF, typing the letters. I'm just showing this so you can see what the problem is first. Um, this is the font that she's wanting, and column switch. And if I finish, and let's make it a bit higher so you can all see what's going on, and I stitch it and view it realistic, you can see what the problem is. Let me bring that out a little bit. You've got the outline shadow, but there's no fill and there's no way to fill the letters. So save it, no. So we're going to do an alternative to this. So I'm going to again start with a new hoop, and this time I'm going to go to create, draw package, and I'm going to create a new bitmap and say OK to that. It's asking me what length and width I want it. For now I'm going to say like 6 by 6 and say OK to that. And here we have it on screen. I'm going to go to 100%, and for this I'm going to pick a color, doesn't matter, and going to the letter A here, which will open up the equivalent of the hyperfont when I click on the screen. I'm going to click over here on the left hand side in the middle, and you can see I already did a quick test with this font. I've since found out that the letters she wants is GMW. So here we go, GMW. So you type the letters down here, and there we have them come up in the screen. And we have the choice of medium and bold, etc. I'm just going to leave it on the medium there and say OK to that. And I'm now going to crop it down a little bit. We don't want all that white area showing around the outside. So here we go, and I'm going to come into about 200%, and now I'm going to change colors, and I'm going up here to the paint tin, the paint can, which is fill, and I'm going to fill in the G, the M, and the W. Now there's a few parts excuse me, let's zoom in a bit closer. You can see there's some parts there that haven't filled in completely. You can mess around with these if you want. I'm just filling in those little gaps there. Alternatively, you can go to the pencil up here, or the pen, and just draw in some lines. Oops, some lines yourself and tidy that up. It just depends on how careful you are. I'll do with the left hand with that. Let's try that again. So it's just a case of playing around with it. But to be honest, even just like that, it will work as you need it to. So I'm going to close the image, save changes to image, and I'm going to call it GMW. It's saving it as a bitmap, and there I go. And there it is on the screen. And at the moment it's just the image. I now need to run it through Autopunch, so I'm going to create Autopunch. Next, we've already got the image that we want on screen, so I'm going to go next. I've already cropped it down a little bit. I could crop it down a little bit more. just to get rid of a lot of those white spaces around the outside of it. So we go next, and let's have a look in inches what size it is. It's 3.4 by 0.9. I know Barbara said she wants it about an inch high, so we'll make that an inch there. Go next. Not bothered about this screen because we've just got the two colours there, so I'm going to go next. And on the chicken tail, I'm going to pull that down to the 2. Anything over above this side will be filled. Anything smaller than this will be column. But again, I'm going to make those selections manually anyway. So here we have, if I turn the preview off, here we have the red shadows and the filled letters. And then you have to decide, do you want to have the to do the fill first and then the shadow on top, or the shadow first and the fill on top? For me, I think it might be better to have do the shadow first and then the fill after. So I'll put the preview on again. We want this to do the shadow around the G, then the shadow around the M, and then the shadow around the W. But there's these other little parts here which belong to the letters here. That's part of the W. Can't quite see where that is. That's also part of the W, and that's part of the W. You can see it highlighting here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the W up. So we're going to have the G, the M, and then the W, and it's going to come to that part. I actually want that to be before the W, and this, I think that's a part of the G, so I'm going to move that up so it's part of the G. Can you see? I don't know if you can see that. It's highlighting that little area there. So there we have the G, the M, the W on the outline, and then we have the filled G, and then I want the filled M next, so I move that up 1, and then the filled W. This is the hole in as part of the G there. So for the moment, I'm going to leave that in there. I may delete it later. So let's go next, and now it's asking me column or fill stitch. Now we know I'm going to select one, hold my control key down on the keyboard, and I'm going to select all the ones that I want to be in column stitch. As a start point, you know me, I'm going to make the density 3 as a start point, but that may well change. And as it's satin stitch, column stitch, I'm going to ask for it to have a little bit of a edge walk underlay. When it comes to the filled stitches, again, click the first one, hold my control key down, click the second, third, and any more there would be. These ones I want filled. It's already on filled. Again, I'm going to set the density to 3. And these ones I want to have some edge walk and fill. I'm just debating here. Fill. I'm just going to have fill underlay. We're going to have a lot going on around the edges here. So next, use a jump stitch and finish. And then I'm going to come into Tools, Hoop, Small Hoop, and View, Realistic View. So there you go, Barbara. That's, I think, a little bit more of what you're asking for. Here, this is stitching in white, and when I delete this, let me zoom in a bit closer. When I delete this, it's probably going to fill the rest of it in red. I'm hoping not, but if it does, I'm just going to have to put a hole back. So no, we're good on that. So let's come out. So that's what we've ended up with. And if I come to the redraw on there and play that, I can actually zoom in a little bit so you can maybe see that a bit better. So there's the shadow on the G, on the M, and on the W. And then it comes back and starts back again on the GMW on the fill part. So I'm hoping that's what you're wanting, Barbara, and I'm hoping you're able to follow that, and that's what you were wanting. So there we go. So I'm going to come back out of redraw so we know the stitching, how it's going to be. At this point, if you wanted to, you could change the fill pattern, you could change well, anything you wanted on it. You can change the shape a little bit, you can change the size a little bit, bring them closer together, so your choice on that part. But I hope that's what you're after, Barbara, and I'll catch you later. Take care. Bye, everybody.